Welcome to Summary of the Week, your quick guide to the top headlines. Today is Saturday, July 12th. Here's a recap of some of the major events this week. There are signs that relations between President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump may again be warming. The two leaders held a call on Friday that Zelensky said was probably the best conversation we have had and the most productive. The presidents addressed air defenses and joint arms production. The call came a day after Trump said he was disappointed by his call with Russian leader Vladimir Putin, who reportedly continued to disagree to a ceasefire with Ukraine. Hours after Trump and Putin's call, Russian forces had, mostly on the 4th of July, targeted Ukraine with a reported 550 missiles and drones. Following Zelensky and Trump's call, the Ukrainian leader was reportedly considering replacing Ukraine's ambassador in Washington with Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal. Meanwhile, sources in Washington told Kyiv Post that Ukraine's envoy, Keith Kellogg, would represent the U.S. at the Ukraine Recovery Conference coming up later in the week in Rome. Ukrainian drones slammed into a Russian airfield on Saturday, reportedly blowing up bomb stockpiles. The Kremlin, in turn, claimed it shot down 120 Ukrainian drones in the evening. The drones ground flights and forced airport shutdowns across multiple Russian oblasts. The Ukrainian Air Force reported Saturday that Russia launched 322 drones at Ukraine, mainly targeting a major airbase in the western region of Khmelnytsky. Most of them were shot down or jammed. However, 11 people, including 2 children, were injured in the city of Kyiv in the Kharkiv region. On Sunday, the Echo Wizard liquid gas tanker, presumed to be part of the Russian shadow fleet of tankers used by Russia to circumvent global sanctions and keep oil exports flowing, was rocked by explosions while docked near Russia's second-largest city, St. Petersburg. This is thought to be the 6th Ukrainian intelligence sabotage of Russian shadow tankers this year. Just a day later, Russia's Minister of Transportation, Roman Starovoyet, formerly governor of the Kursk region, was abruptly sacked, with reports later surfacing that he shot himself. Whether these incidents are linked remains unclear, but the timing is raising eyebrows. In Monday's early hours, Ukraine resumed its campaign against Russian energy infrastructure after a 4-month pause, with Ukrainian military intelligence confirming a long-range drone strike on the Ilsky oil refinery. Russian officials and media also reported Monday that Ukrainian drones hit a chemical plant near Moscow, used to supply the Russian military with explosives, gunpowder, and components for ammunition and missile systems. Russia struck back Monday with a massive overnight drone blitz on multiple Ukrainian regions, leaving many civilian casualties. In Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, 1 woman was killed and 82 people were injured, including 8 children. Officials reported that 2 people were killed in the northeastern region of Sumy, 1 in the southern region of Kherson, and 1 in the port city of Odessa. Also, at least 10 people were injured in the Zaporizhia region. There were no casualties reported in Kyiv. However, 500 buildings, including schools, hospitals, and government facilities, lost hot water. Russia also targeted military recruitment center buildings in Kharkiv and Zaporizhia regions, injuring 3 service members. According to its Ukrainian manufacturer General Tereshnya, its interceptor drone, the General Tereshnya Air, is now outsmarting Russian foam-built Gerbera decoys, which are Shahed lookalikes used for both recon and attacks. In a video posted to Facebook, the company claims its drone for the first time takes down Gerbera in midair. A new investigation by the Atlantic Council and Georgetown Security Studies Review found that domestic drone production has soared by 900%, with factories now turning out up to 200,000 UAVs a month, a staggering shift in scale and strategy. At the same time, the Ukrainian defense tech startup is letting small investors join the drone race, offering entry-point investments as low as $1,000 in wartime arms manufacturing. Also, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday to further expand Ukraine's arsenal by cementing a new drone manufacturing pact. Ukraine's cabinet of ministers didn't approve nominee Alexander Savinsky to become head of the country's Bureau of Economic Security, or the BED, an anti-corruption watchdog. However, 2 weeks ago, Savinsky was elected chairman by commission members. But on Monday evening, the government didn't appoint Savinsky, saying that his father's Russian citizenship was a security issue. But Ukrainian civil society groups are protesting the decision, saying that the real reason Savinsky hasn't been approved is because he's not a candidate who would allow himself to be controlled by the authorities. Note, the current commander-in-chief of Ukraine's armed forces, Oleksandr Syrsky, also has a Russian father. Late Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning, Russia launched a record-breaking aerial assault with 741 drones and missiles at Ukraine, much of it aimed at the western Ukrainian city of Lutsk in the Volyn region, sparking fires and causing widespread damage. On the same day, Moscow claimed it tripled its drone production this year. The Washington-based think tank Institute for the Study of War assessed that increased Russian long-range drone production is enabling Russia's growing nightly strikes against civilian targets in Ukraine. The analysts added that engineering know-how from China has been critical in this manufacturing, and noted reports that Chinese-made components have been found in these UAVs. On July 8th, Zelensky imposed sanctions on 5 Chinese companies accused of supplying parts used in Russian drones. Kyiv woke up Thursday to thick smoke and wreckage after a 10-hour Russian onslaught hammered the capital and surrounding regions. At least 2 people were killed and 12 more wounded, as nearly 400 drones and 20 missiles battered Ukraine's air defenses. "We must respond harshly," President Zelensky said, calling for renewed pressure on Russia and sustained international support. That support may now be back on track. After a week of confusion over Patriot missile delays, U.S. President Donald Trump announced the resumption of artillery and precision rocket shipments to Ukraine. A security service of Ukraine SBU colonel was shot and killed in Kyiv's Polosivsky district on Thursday morning, according to the SBU press service. A low-quality surveillance video of the murder has gone viral on social media, showing a man approaching a car before another individual runs up, appears to fire several shots, and then flees the scene. In Ukraine, a Russian drone strike on Kharkiv early Friday damaged a maternity hospital and injured nearly a dozen people, according to local officials. On the same day in Russia, there were reports of Ukrainian attacks near key military sites, including the Kronstadt drone plant, defense factories in Tula, and strategic aviation facilities in Taganrog and Lukhovitsky. Thanks for watching this week's Summary of the Week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay informed.